Andhra Pradesh Health Department says no restrictions on travelling and gatherings in the state. Advise people to wear masks in light of the HMPV spread. The Srivari Kalyana Ratham, a processional deity, leaves from Tirumala for the Mahakumbh. And the big and only story today on the South Indian is PM Modi's Grand Roadshow in Andhra Pradesh. Prime Minister to launch several developmental projects in Visakhapatnam. Alright, so that's the biggest story, the Grand Andhra Roadshow. The three protagonists, as it were, right in the middle, Prime Minister flanked by Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Nara Chandrababu Naidu, and actor turned politician Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan. After assuming office as Prime Minister for the third consecutive term in 2024, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to make his first visit to Andhra Pradesh. In a few minutes from now, the Prime Minister shall lay the foundations for major projects worth Rs 65,000 crores in the state and inaugurate several others. An estimated 1.5 to 2 lakh people are expected to attend the Prime Minister's meeting at Andhra University Engineering College grounds in the port city. Narendra Modi, who shall be accompanied by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu and Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan. The NDA alliance in Andhra Pradesh had a fabulous victory, and the TDP-JSP play a crucial part in the entire relationship. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will begin with laying the foundation for a railway zone at Visakhapatnam, as also the foundation for NTPC's integrated green hydrogen hub at Pudu Madaka, Nakkapalli Mandal, Anakapalli district. The public sector company, as part of this project, shall invest Rs 65,370 crores in 3 phases. Modi is also set to virtually launch Krishnapatnam Industrial Hub, a Rs 1,518 crore project, which is all set to come up on a 2,500-acre land parcel in the first phase. This project is expected to generate employment opportunities for close to 50,000 people. Next on the list is laying the foundation for a Rs 1,877 crore bulk drug park in Nakkapalli. The bulk drug park, coming up on 2,002 acres of land with an investment of 11,542 crores, is expected to create employment opportunities for nearly 55,000 people. Apart from laying the foundation and inaugurating several projects in Andhra Pradesh, the Prime Minister shall also undertake a roadshow from Sampath Vinayaka Temple to the meeting venue in Andhra University. That this maiden visit of the Prime Minister is significant is a given. But what does it mean in the overall scheme of things in South India, where the BJP has been attempting to gain a firm foothold? Let's debate. I have guests as K.S. Prasad, who is a senior political analyst, and Suresh Kochatil, who is also a senior political analyst. A very, very warm welcome to both of you, Mr. Prasad and Suresh. Good to have you on the show. You know, first up, the thing is that, Mr. Prasad, I wanted to ask you if I can bring you in. This is very, very significant. I look at it first, you know, not purely from the prism of politics, BJP, Congress, etc., but just south of India. You know, for the south of India, this is a very, very significant visit, you know, laying the foundation stone and inaugurating several other developmental projects. It is almost like today Andhra Pradesh has become the doorway, the entry point for Narendra Modi and of course the BJP in south of India.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening to the Kochar sir, and good evening to the viewers. Ma'am, you are the senior most journalist, and it's our pride that you are from South and you also know Telugu language, and how brutally this NDA government, and as far as Mr. Narendra Modi is concerned, from the last 10 years after the bifurcation of our state, the promises which were made as far as Vizag railway zone and everything is concerned, that today whatever he is doing for Andhra Pradesh, specifically coming to Visakhapatnam, the number one, the railway zone inauguration, which was promised and delivered in January 23, 2024 itself. The Sarkar Express, a Jamana delay karke, jo slogan hai na, the same way. The 10 years of division promises which were about to fulfill by the respect to central government, they smartly avoided this entire Vizag zone as far as 10 years is concerned. And today, after 10 years, even though the delivery is being done in January 23rd, 2024 itself, today they're smartly inaugurating that. The second thing is Energy's green hydrogen energy hub, which was promised and which was given in February 21st, 2024, which is costing around 65,370 crores. This hydrogen, 1 year back, it is about to, and some part of the works to be done already. Instead of that, today they are laying a stone for that. And another thing, this bulk drug, this thing, which is also promised in February 5th, 2024, and the 41,500 crores are already, production is already coming from out of 300 units, which were already there in Nakapalli. Today, he is inaugurating again. There is nothing wrong in it. This Hyderabad is concerned in Telangana, we have GNRM is concerned, which was laid by Chandrababu Naidu. The same legacy they want to continue in the era of Chandrababu Naidu. It has come. To prove that point, again they are establishing as if they are inaugurating.
Yeah, but the point is, I'll come to you, Mr. Prasad. You make some very important opening comments as always. Suresh, but the point is that, if we remember, what did Jagan Mohan Reddy do then?
That's a good question. Rather, what he didn't do is a question. The question is simple here. What Mr. Chandrababu Naidu is trying to do is optics. Remember, he has 5 years to prove that what Jagan did do in his 5 years, that he can do it now. Of course, questions will be asked in terms of why projects which are already running are being inaugurated again and why the rebranding is being done and all that. That's fine. That's a part of politics. But the most important thing one needs to understand is the fact that what Mr. Modi is conveying is a message to Telangana more than Andhra. What he calls a double engine Sarkar. That if you have a government of yours in Delhi and you have one in Hyderabad or now in Andhra Pradesh, you get all these benefits and more. Vote for us and you get it.
Because sorry Suresh, but I did not complete my question. The point is that it's also because, we saw Jagan Mohan Reddy cozying up to Modi time and time again, which is absolutely fine. Why not? I mean, you are in politics. I mean, you're not running an NGO, for God's sake, So you go there, and he kept meeting, Prime Minister Modi several times over, and there was hope that maybe the special status will be granted. But the needle did not move, Suresh. At least today, like you say, the double engine Sarkar, I think it is also a message not only to Telangana, Suresh, but to the entire south of India that look, the needle didn't move maybe, and Mr. Prasad is absolutely fine and right in saying so, but today the needle has moved. In a few moments from now, we will all see it, Suresh. Would you agree?
See, one thing we need to understand is there's nothing called a special status anymore in the Constitution. It was removed about 11 years ago during the UPA 2 regime. In fact, all the northeastern states also lost their status. What is a special status is basically a tax exemption or a funding mechanism. In northeast case, it was 100% funded by central government program. The state government didn't have to contribute anything. In case of states which are bordering international countries, that is Pakistan or China or even Nepal or Bhutan, the concerned state has to put in about 10 to 20%, the central government puts in the remaining 80%. Or it has to be a tribal state. 3 things. Of course, Andhra didn't qualify for any of these 3 things. The promise made by, I think it was Venkaiah Naidu, if I'm not mistaken, who made a promise on the floor of the parliament then, but it is a mistake. Anyway, we'll keep that aside for right now because there is nothing called special status as of now. Instead of that, you fund projects. Okay, it can be a Polavaram project which wants to acquire a national status. It can be the bulk drug unit which Andhra is trying to entice from Hyderabad because Hyderabad gave up on bulk drugs long back. Hyderabad is only now finishing drugs capability. We are buying the APIs from China. So to prevent that or to kind of motivate that around is what he's doing. The railway zone again is an optics. The main problem one needs to realize is the Visakhapatnam steel plant. It's a white elephant as of now. One, it doesn't have an ore of its own, that is iron ore. I mean, wherever you want to get coal from or any ore for that matter, they don't have a mine. And that is one of the mistakes that was made when Visakhapatnam steel plant was conceived. Now, trying to merge it with an existing PSU is another disaster that should not be undertaken. There has to be a realization of the land value.
Now,
monetize the land and kind of make money on it.
Yeah, Mr. Prasad, if you look at all these projects that are being, today Prime Minister Modi shall inaugurate and lay the foundation stone for. What comes up again and again, Mr. K.S. Prasad, is the kind of employment opportunities, 50,000 jobs, 50,000 jobs. Now, if it's for us to kind of wait and see tomorrow, but as of today, and let's understand also that the victory of Babu and Pawan Kalyan was also based on promising job opportunities for the people of Andhra Pradesh. Otherwise, Jagan Mohan Reddy was doing pretty okay with his welfare schemes. These are promises, this is like kind of green shoots that the people saw. So do you see some merit in that once this happens, there will be job opportunities for the people of Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Prasad?
That's what, with a ray of hope, we really look into that in that prosperity way of creating a lot of employment and all. But as far as these particular situations are concerned, they're already laying 300 plus units with more than 42,500 crores of the medical fraternity, these things are concerned. Coming to the railway zone, which was a promise from years together, nothing has, so far, nothing has happened. If you really look into it, other things, whatever it comes in, down the line, it may create a lot of opportunities like employment and all. We're not denying for all that. What about existing? Suresh sir said very clearly that as far as Vizag steel plant is concerned, it is a white elephant. Sir, I'm a chartered accountant, but unfortunately, I'm happened to be the internal actor for Vizag steel plant. With a huge expansion, then only they started incurring some sort of losses. This is a capital investment which was made on that particular unit. They have already paid the respective dividend to the national government as far as whatever they've been made from their end. Even today, the gentleman like Vajpayee sir, when it comes for the BFR reference, he has given a golden hand for that time by referring OMDC as far as Orissa is concerned. As and when Orissa, iron minister comes, and again Karnataka iron minister comes, it all things will fall on the head of Vizag steel plant. That R-card issue as far as land is concerned, even today they are not even resolved it. But today they are smartly giving to the people around. As far as last time Narendra Modi's visit is concerned, at least some dialogue was opened by Jagan Mohan Reddy, whatever the language you name it as. But when it comes to this particular moment, even the last time when it has been referred for the BIFR, the gentleman Chandrababu Naidu has taken the unions to the respective Prime Minister. The same scenario, why can't he do the same? They haven't even bothered to do.
All right, I like this. I like, I like diverse views, but today is the day to keep for it's coming to the south, and I think for me, for all of us, and for the South Indian or Indians, this is great news. Two gentlemen will flank Modi today. One is Chandrababu Naidu, and the other is Pawan Kalyan. Pawan Kalyan, whom everyone wrote off, and I have done many shows on Pawan Kalyan, is today, I'm going to discuss with the guests, Mr. Prasad and Suresh, whether he is the man who works as a glue in the NDA alliance between the TDP and the Bharatiya Janata Party. Listen to what Prime Minister Modi said about Pawan Kalyan, and then I get back to the debate.
आंध्र, मैं अबू बाबू को पूछ रहा था, बोले हिस्टोरिकली ये सबसे हाईएस्ट विक्ट्री है। और ये जो यहाँ दिखता है ना पवन, ये पवन नहीं, आंधी है। आंध्र ने इतना बड़ा हमारे प्रति जनमत दिया है। हिंदुस्तान के लिए एक सामान्य मानवी की विकास की जो जिजीविषा है, उसका प्रतिबिंब है।
All right, even as Prime Minister is all set just now to kind of lay foundation stones and also inaugurate several developmental projects virtually, I said they will be flanked by two people, the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister. Let's talk a bit about the Deputy Chief Minister, the actor turned politician, Pawan Kalyan. Suresh, would you agree that a man who was actually said to be somebody who's not going to have major traction works as a glue between worked as a glue between TDP and the BJP in stitching up the alliance, in actually also for the fabulous victory, because there are several factors, but first is the Kapu vote, as it were. Suresh Kochatin, over to you.
Well, I guess I also was one among those guys who used to criticize Pawan Kalyan.
I remember.
When he lost.
I was trying to be
the
polite.
Reason being, you can get 2 lakh people to come to your rally as a film star. You can speak, but to convert those 2 lakh people, at least 50,000 of them into votes, requires a kind of an organization, which Pawan Kalyan did not have. When he came together with Chandrababu Naidu, that's when Chandrababu Naidu's organization capabilities came to the fore, something that even the legendary N.T. Ramarao had realized long ago. He converted that crowds into votes, and I think that is what it is. Pawan Kalyan is a glue, yes, more than a glue. I think he is an unabashed Hindu activist, if you can call it that way, or a Hindu protagonist. He kind of holds no kind of gloves. He goes all out, all guns blazing in the Sanatan issue with Udayanidhi's Stalin. And today, if you ask me, if there is a person who is more cutter than Modi ji in terms of Hindutva, I think it's Pawan Kalyan. Because he has no apologies. He doesn't need to apologize to anybody to say, oh, I'm a moderate Hindu, or I'm a kind of, I'm a Hindu for the namesake. No, he pulls no punches. He gives it as good as he gets. And I think that is where even Udayanidhi, Stalin and others realize that the threat is Pawan Kalyan comes down south of Andhra, past the Andhra border into Tamil Nadu, at least the northern Tamil Nadu, he has a lot of support.
Much like what he did in Maharashtra. Much like what he did in Maharashtra. One witnessed that. Yeah, Mr. Prasad, the thing is that much like what Suresh is saying, Pawan Kalyan represents the Hindutva of what the central dispensation stands for, that he is unabashedly a Hindu. He speaks about the Sanatana Dharma. He says the Hindus are being tortured the world over. When the Bangladesh ISKCON incident happened, Pawan Kalyan stood up and he spoke about it. So in the larger prism, if you see it from the prism of how alliances work, this is one major reason for the TDP, Janasena and BJP alliance to work, and therefore the double engine Sarkar, Mr. Prasad.
If you really look into the past history of Janasena party, he has been originated from BJP. As for the whims and fancies of BJP, only he dance as per their tunes. Because basically he is an actor. Entire family is Gnostics, and his brothers are categorically said that he doesn't even bother to believe God. And today, all of a sudden, he acts as if he is the Sanatan Dharma head. Because under the tunes of BJP, how he plays. If you really recollect his presence in 2014, he has not been not a contested candidate as far as his party is concerned. But in 2019, anti-incumbency voters can be splitted as far as Telugu Desam is concerned. That's what their game plan is. Quite unfortunately, the YSRCP has landed up with 151. Today, he has made a bridge between BJP and Telugu Desam for the sake of Telugu Desam. If he really falls under the trap of Jagan Mohan Reddy, he would have contested individually. Entire community, even though they rallied for him, he modulated himself to the 10 steps down and said very categorically, at least my presence, at least to play some role as like a Kumar Swamy in Karnataka, for which I need to survive as a politician to win the battle first.
Right.
For which he has murdered on himself, and he has categorically started this scenario with 50 plus seats and fall down to 31.
Yeah, again, but he had a fabulous, Mr. Prasad. Ultimately, it's about the results you get. I'm not saying that.
No, I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it. A battle which was taken place for YSRCP is concerned under the illusions of Pawan Kalyan will contest. Then it is a matter of fact for Jagan Mohan Reddy that he will win the battle for 175 seats is a matter of fact. But when it comes to the alliance, particularly the 0.8% of BJP.
Yeah, but you would agree that the Kamma-Kapu rivalry, Kamma being Chandrababu Naidu belonging to that community and Kapu's, Pawan Kalyan belonging to that, there has been a traditional historical rivalry between the two groups. Now, isn't it true? Isn't it true that the Kapus actually rallied behind Pawan Kalyan Garu? The votes did not go to YSRCP. I mean, Pawan Kalyan actually attracted not only the Kapus but also the youth of Andhra Pradesh, promises of jobs for a bright future, however right or wrong it is, Mr. Prasad.
Ma'am, it's very clear. Yesterday, if you really look into that film function and Game Changer, he said very clearly that the creation of employment is quite impossible. That's why you need to go and watch the movies. That's what his deliberation is concerned, yesterday's meeting is concerned. even after losing 2 lives. Is most inconsistent person with consistently working in politics. That is Pawan Kalyan. Is a brand ambassador for inconsistency. That is where he is maintaining that consistency.
But
if you really look into it, we three will differ with him even after there is nothing, there is no option left to accept as a politician.
right, but then I think very smart move by Pawan Kalyan, even as we speak
No,
about
it's not smart move, ma'am. If you really look into that Kapu community, there is no alternative for them. I mean to say that if this particular scenario of Pawan Kalyan ends in this particular election battle, there will not be any representation for their community.
Okay, but
for
then
which
what?
They played a game with respect to BJP.
All right.
That we need to understand and accept.
All right. But as far as Suresh said, the way Suresh said that today Pawan Kalyan has become an ambassador for Hindutva, and therefore, you know, he is somebody who's closest when it comes to the central dispensation's ideology about who a real Hindu is. Listen into what Pawan Kalyan says and we get back to the debate.
Whoever attacks Sanatana Dharma from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, let us all raise our voice in unison, irrespective of parties, irrespective of linguistic differences, irrespective of regional, sub-regional differences. Let us all raise our concern, let us all raise our voice as one Sanatani.
All right, we're just awaiting for Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, to lay the foundation for several development projects in Andhra Pradesh, his maiden visit after 2024 elections, and of course he shall be accompanied by both the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh as well as the Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan. We have two guests with us. I have senior journalist and political analyst K.S. Prasad with us, and also Suresh Kochatil, who's also senior political analyst and journalist. Suresh, let me come to you. You know, a bit of history in this is after the Reorganization Act. Andhra Pradesh and also Jagan Mohan Reddy, the new government, said that it has a financial crisis in hand. Most governments say that. I mean, their coffers are running empty, and also the Super 6, which was promised by TDP, JSP, and also the BJP government in Andhra Pradesh, they said we don't have the funds really. Don't you think these developmental projects will go a long way in kind of bridging that gap, in helping the state to kind of, once again irrigate the coffers, as it were?
Well, yesterday the Supreme Court had commented on a case where the pensions of the judges had come up, and some of the state governments said they don't have money for it. And I don't know which judge it was, it was the Chief Justice, but they said, if you can give money to people who don't do any work, why can't you give pensions to the judges? This is the question they asked. I think there is a lot of sense. It makes sense to give agricultural subsidy to a farmer who's already working. Okay, that's a kind of relief, or advanced seed purchase money. Waiving off, I am totally against it. Waiving off. But then you start giving 2,000, 3,000 rupees to women. I again have no objection. But if you say you need to work for that amount, just like your M-Narega scheme, then there is a value attached to it. The problem with this, teach a man how to fish, he'll not come back to you. But if you give him a fish, he'll come back for more, is an adage that holds true here. And definitely, I'm all against. Look at what happens in Maharashtra. Within a month of being sworn in, the Maharashtra government says it does not have money for other things. And this is the state whose total projects, that is, if you put all their guarantees put together, it is only 17% of the state's gross domestic product. Other states are struggling at 60 and 70%. There's no money for laying roads. There's no money to run schools, hospitals, because you're busy giving out freebies.
Right.
Empower people. I think that's where Prime Minister Modi actually differs from others, actually. He says, I will give subsidies. No, I will give input subsidies.
All right.
I will give houses so that people don't have to pay rent.
All right.
These are the things which you need to do.
All right. On the screen now, let's tell our viewers about what are the developmental projects that Prime Minister Modi is going to be laying the foundation for. There you have visuals. The Prime Minister has arrived. That's his cavalcade. And there you see live shots on your screen right now. I can spot Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu, waving to the crowds, and also the Deputy Chief Minister, Pawan Kalyan. The cavalcade on its way, greeting people of Visakhapatnam. There you have it, a flower-decked vehicle, and atop which the Prime Minister of the country, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, as well as the Deputy Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Pawan Kalyan. Nearly 1.5 to 2 lakh people have gathered for this roadshow.
ప్రధాని నరేంద్ర మోదీ దాదాపు ఒక అరగంట క్రితం విశాఖలోని ఇండియన్ నేవీ డేగా ఎయిర్ స్టేషన్ దగ్గరికి చేరుకున్నారు. అక్కడి నుంచి రోడ్డు మార్గం గుండా సిరిపురం జంక్షన్ కి చేరుకున్నారు ప్రధాని. ఆయనతో పాటు అదే వాహనంలో ముఖ్యమంత్రి చంద్రబాబు కూడా ప్రయాణించి ఆ జంక్షన్ దగ్గరికి చేరుకున్నారు. వేరే వాహనంలో
Prime Minister Narendra Modi flanked by Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh Chandrababu Naidu in Visakhapatnam and also flanked by Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan.
ఆయన అభివాదం చేసుకుంటూ ప్రత్యేకంగా సుందరంగా అలంకరించిన ఈ వాహనం లోపలికి ముగ్గురు నేతలు చేరుకున్నారు. ప్రస్తుతం సిరిపురం జంక్షన్ నుంచి కొన్ని నిమిషాల క్రితం రోడ్ షో ప్రారంభమైంది. ప్రధాని, ముఖ్యమంత్రి, ఉప ముఖ్యమంత్రి ముగ్గురు కలిసి ఒకే వాహనంలో విశాఖలో సిరిపురం జంక్షన్ నుంచి ఏయూ వరకు కూడా రోడ్ షో నిర్వహిస్తూ ఉన్నారు. ప్రస్తుతం ఈ రోడ్ షో కొనసాగుతోంది. వందే మాతరం గీతాలాపనతో ప్రధానికి స్వాగతం పలికారు. అక్కడ చిన్నారులంతా కూడా సంప్రదాయ నృత్య ప్రదర్శన చేశారు. ప్రధాని నరేంద్ర మోదీ అక్కడికి చేరుకున్న ఆ తరుణంలో వందే మాతర గీతాలాపనతో ఆయనకి స్వాగతం పలికారు. అలాగే వారి రోడ్ షోకి పూల వర్షం కురిపిస్తూ
The road show has begun. Flower-bedecked vehicle on which we saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi flanked by Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu as well as Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan. Wonderful celebrations as it were. Also, roads are also being spruced up. You see a lot of the atmosphere is such which is celebrating in actually the arrival of Prime Minister. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Visakhapatnam for his first road show after being sworn in for the third time.
మరి కాసేపట్లో రోడ్ షో ముగించుకుని బహిరంగ సభ ద్వారా ఆయన మాట్లాడే తరుణంలో శంకుస్థాపనలు అవన్నీ కూడా పూర్తి చేస్తారు. ఆ తర్వాత ఆయన విశాఖ వాసులను ఉద్దేశించి ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ రాష్ట్ర వాసులందరినీ ఉద్దేశించి ఏం ప్రసంగిస్తారు అన్నది చాలా కీలకంగా మారింది. ప్రధాని రాక నేపథ్యంలో విశాఖ అంతా కూడా ఒక పండుగ వాతావరణాన్ని సంతరించుకుంది.
The live visuals on your screens right now of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's maiden visit to Andhra Pradesh after being sworn in, flanked by Chandrababu Naidu and also by Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan. The cavalcade moving slowly while greeting people on both sides of the road. You can see flowers strewn all across, and now in a few moments from now he shall now lay the foundation stones for several developmental projects.
మోదీ చంద్రబాబు పవన్ రోడ్ షో అనుకున్నారు. ప్రస్తుతం మనకు మోదీ చంద్రబాబు కనిపిస్తున్నారు. లైవ్ దృశ్యాల్లో చూస్తున్నాం మనం. విశాఖ నుంచి ఏయూలో మరి కాసేపట్లో భారీ బహిరంగ సభ నిర్వహించబోతున్నారు. మోదీ టూర్ నేపథ్యంలో
All right, let's now go across to the guests and the experts to speak more on this. Mr. Prasad, the question that I asked before, we cut live to these live visuals, which I asked Suresh also. Don't you think this will give a major boost to Andhra Pradesh, as it were? And whatever may be the politics of it, but the economics of it and the development so far is concerned, this is a major shot in the arm for Andhra Pradesh.
ఒకసారి మనం శంకుస్థాపన
So,
చేసి
ma'am, we are talking about boost. If you have milk, if you add boost, it really gives some energy. And from the last 10 years, we are really crying for milk, and all of a sudden, the people are talking about boost. Fortunately or unfortunately, is the happen to be a Prime Minister of India from last 10 years. This is the 11th year. Even after the deliverables, what are all concerned, as far as promises which were made in 2040 by at the time of bifurcation, today one after another is about to come. All these have not even come yet. And today he has come for the foundation stones and all after 10 years. What does it mean by? When will get milk and when will you add boost and that so that we'll get some energy and all. Despite unfortunately, even after whatever is happened to be happened, and today at least something is happening, we are not denying that. But when it comes to एक हाथ से एक देना दूसरे हाथ से दूसरा छीन लेना है तो क्या मतलब है? As far as this particular scenario is concerned, when it comes to promises which were being delivered for three stones are concerned, what about Vizag steel plant? It is his primary duty to address it at least. If he is not addressing, what does it mean? Today, it is not a political rally. Before elections, rally is absolutely not.
Right.
After winning the battle, as far as deliverables
Okay, so
are concerned,
what is,
I
mean, a lot of left leaders have also protested. What is the way out, Mr. Prasad, if you look at the Visakhapatnam steel plant? Visakhapatnam is known as a city of destinies. I mean, lot of people have come and found fortune in Vizag or Visakhapatnam as it is well known. What do you think is the way out then? Because one has to look forward. No, if 10 years you say there's been a gap, why look even further back, like 2 decades ago, Mr. Prasad? What is the way out, sir?
No, ma'am. No. As far as Vizag railway zone is concerned, which was promised in air from the last 6 years. And as a discussion which was open in the respective Parliament House in both houses, they smartly taken all sorts of excuses. Today, after 10 years successfully completed, 11th year they are coming for laying a stone. When it will be? A person who's been deployed as a superintendent for 1,50,000 salary is smartly given an assistant. And in the budget meetings, all zones have been allocated respect to money. When the voice has been raised in both houses, then they're saying that what are all is there. These are all new additions. This is what the answers we got from the last 10 years.
All right.
Today, a Prime Minister, he has laid a stone in Amaravati. What sort of ruckus has taken place for Amaravati? You are quite aware of it. More than that, you are a senior most journalist. You are familiar with respective situations what were taking place in Andhra Pradesh. And you are talking about a stone which was laid again as far as Vizag railway zone is concerned. This particular Chandrababu Naidu, if you really look at it last 1.5 years in his tenure, he has started a Dharma Porata Diksha in all 13 districts and carrying all the respective leaders from various states. And he has addressed that state how it is lost in the era of Narendra Modi. Today, after 5 years, they smartly joined their hands and today they are saying something definitely takes place in an innovative way. How can we believe it?
All right, Suresh Kochatil.
What is the trust? It's a breach of trust is already taken place in the last 5 years.
Right.
The rest 5 years also, we are given another party to rule us. Even after the way
all
they
right.
treated us, it is the treatment for us.
Okay. Let's put up those graphics, where what was promised, and there was a lot of buzz about how Andhra Pradesh got a lion's share, obviously because there is a very important component of the NDA. A lot of things were promised. I mean, we have those graphics as to what all, was promised. Suresh Kochatil, I think most of the case, I think the center, what Nirmala Sitharaman had promised, is now being fulfilled. Would you agree? This is 50,475 crores or about 4% of the total budget, ladies and gentlemen, that was promised when the budget was the union budget. 15,000 crores for construction of Amravati, push to Pallavaram project and Vizag Chennai industrial corridor. Several on your screens right now, all the promises which were made during the union budget. Now there is also support for development of Rayalaseema, Prakasam and Uttarandhra region. Suresh Kochatil, do you think that slowly but steadily these promises which were made, and of course there was a lot of buzz, like I said, a lot of narrative about, Andhra is getting a major chunk, and obviously because of the double engine Sarkar that Modi had promised, do you think that now is the time for them to redeem their promises and it's being done? Suresh.
Yeah, I think it is obvious, isn't it? I'll tell you what the reason why there was no development for 10 years was because of the politics between Chandrababu Naidu and YS Jagan. Unlike Telangana, I'll give you one example. The outer ring road started during Chandrababu Naidu's term. I'm talking of some 15-20 years ago. I was those days with the Times of India, and I remember seeing the first blueprint of the ORR. It's supposed to be a secret document at that time, and next day it was released to the media. The point was, then Rajshekar Reddy came in, he continued with that project. Finally, when BRS came in, they closed the project. That is, they ensured complete last 167 kilometers was completed with the last 3 kilometers that were pending. There was no break in the entire investment climate. Hyderabad continued to be an IT hub. And today, if you ask me, when you talk of employment, one should realize it is not local employment. Most of the people who work in the IT sector in Hyderabad are not from Hyderabad. They are from other states. See, it is question is when you say employment, you should not become another Shiv Sena, Bhal Thackeray kind of approach, saying that sons of soil, we will only allow Marathis to work
Marathi
in Maharashtra.
Manus. Yeah.
Yeah, that went out of the window later, isn't it? Today, Maharashtra is kind of magnet for people from all over the country. That's exactly what it is. When you say employment, it is basically employment at the lower level. Basically, where every support staff that is needed for every employed staff. And that is what it is. It can be AC mechanic, cab drivers, anything for that matter. These are what needs to be done. And these are people who need jobs. And more importantly, I think one need to look at Vizag steel plant. You asked that question. Very good question. Today, what happens is that you're throwing good money after bad money. Just because you want to keep the plant alive. It should be kept alive. There's no doubt about it. But then should the taxpayers' money be used for that? That is my question. If they want a mine, give them a mine. That's done it. But trying to merge it with Steel Authority of India or something else doesn't make any sense. Vizag Rail Zone. Okay, it's been a long pending demand. My father was also in railways and I used to talk about those days from South Central Railway. But today what happens between Bhubaneswar and Chennai, the zone is going to be extremely small, Sudha. It is not going to be self-sustaining. Just for the sake of politics, you're creating a zone. It has to be self-sustaining. There has to be that much of traffic load from there, which is not there.
Okay. So do you agree with what Mr. Prasad, with what Suresh says, that there is that, this is a very small zone and there is not much traffic, he says. So, we are just going round and round the circles. At least some beginning is being made, Mr. Prasad, some may say.
I totally not agree with what Suresh sir has said. His father might be an employee. Even my mother is happened to be the DRM in railways. I know in and out of everything, and I'm an Andhra University student from respect to Visakhapatnam. But I'm telling you, when we started our careers, our salaries are very less. It doesn't mean that we are not having that much of salaries. We are not given up. When some initiation and some ignition has taken place, definitely it rises to the expectations of Andhra Pradesh. Today, whatever is not there, tomorrow something will be there. That is the slogan today we need to take as far as laying a stone for Vizag zone is concerned. Talking about revenues, let them. We have been seeing from last 10 years, nothing has happened. Coming into this, at least some initiation, I'm not denying it. I thought I was in an illusion that the initiation has already taken place in 2014. Nothing has grounded. At least some foundation stone, at least today is grounding. That's what is about to happen as far as Vizag is concerned. Coming into the promises and deliverables are concerned, whatever the ratios, only Shashi Tharoor can understand whatever Nirmala Sitharaman ma'am says in the floor of the house. Some percentage she's saying that out of which 4% is totally given it to the Andhra Pradesh. What are the promises, ma'am? As far as Amaravati is concerned, they are giving some sort of guarantee for Asian Mercantile Banks and World Banks. If they give and if they provide loan as far as 15,000 is concerned, what is the allocation from respect to budget? Nothing of that sort. But when it comes to share, yesterday they announced something like we are giving some 56 kilometers railway track from Amaravati to so and so. Where is the land acquisition? There is an initiation, only a promise, just like a promises in the floor of the house.
Right.
This is what, as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. If you want me to live in illusions, we are quite open from the last 10 years. One more 5 years, we are ready for it. But unfortunately or unfortunately, we are choosing Narendra Modi. And for which, if just like Abdul Kalam sir, whatever he said, let's dream it first, then the executions will come in. Instead of that, we are waiting for executions because we are dreaming from years.
All right, I want to ask you, what happened with Amravati? Jagan was ruling there for so many years. Amravati was relegated to a back burner, right? I mean, I have seen stories done by my reporters. There is nothing there. The needle not only did not move, the needle was broken, Mr. Prasad. At least now, again, I'm not talking politics. I'm talking about development, about people of the state. They were fed up. They didn't have a capital for the longest time. They said, we are neither here nor there. It is like living out of a suitcase. Today, Amravati, of course, the kind of expense, the finance which has been incurred, the kind of, money which has been wasted on Amravati is legion now. We all know this. But at least Jagan did nothing to it. Today at least something is being done so far as Amravati is concerned.
Will you allow me, ma'am? Will you allow me? Ma'am, I'll tell you one thing. As far as Amravati is concerned, in the tenure of Chandrababu Naidu itself, it may be a temporary building or whatever you name it as. Secretariat, Assembly and respect to High Court has been constructed. We are functioning from there itself. As far as Singapore conservatism is concerned, it's a self-sustained project. Whatever they have been said, they have given up, and next government has not accepted it. What else government can do that? Can you tell me? What else a government can do as far as their commitment towards respect to capital is concerned? If you really look into that way, from the last 7 months, the NDA government has come. Did they pass any gadget as far as Amaravati is concerned, is our capital? Even they have not done it. If you really look at whatever the blames have been taken by Jagan Mohan Reddy, the 7 months after also the same story is repeating. Hardly they allocated 37
Let
crores
me come back to you,
clean
Mr.
up
Prasad.
that.
Mr. Prasad, I'm sorry, Mr. Prasad,
that,
let me come back to you. Those are live visuals that you can see on your screens right now. Euphoric, the people on both sides of the road, euphoric even as they see Prime Minister and also Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu and Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan. Let's listen in.
आज प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का विशाखापट्टनम में कई कार्यक्रम हैं। इसमें करीब 2 लाख करोड़ रुपए की जो परियोजनाएं हैं उसकी सौगात प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी विशाखापट्टनम में आंध्र प्रदेश को देने वाले हैं। इसमें कई तरह की विभिन्न परियोजनाएं हैं जो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी सौंपने वाले हैं। कुछ परियोजनाओं का शिलान्यास है, कुछ परियोजनाओं का उद्घाटन है, कुछ परियोजनाओं की आधारशिला है। ये तमाम चीज़ें नीरज सिंह हमारे संवाददाता वहाँ पर पहले से पहुँचे हुए हैं और नीरज सिंह ने बहुत वहाँ से एक रिपोर्ट भी भेजी थी कि प्रधानमंत्री का क्या क्या कार्यक्रम है। इस समय हमारे साथ फ़ोन लाइन पर नीरज सिंह जुड़ चुके हैं। नीरज, ये कुछ तस्वीरें हम देख रहे हैं विशाखापट्टनम से प्रधानमंत्री के रोड शो की।
All right, those you see even as the cavalcade is moving in Visakhapatnam, where the Prime Minister is all set to lay the foundation stone for the railway zone, much awaited, as both our guests said. And of course, there's been officials also from the railway department have said that it is a long awaited project which required some kind of expedition, and now maybe with Prime Minister Narendra Modi things will move. We'll have to wait and see. As of now, you see people on both sides of the road waving to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and also greeting the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Pawan Kalyan and Chandrababu Naidu.
प्रधानमंत्री को देखने के लिए यहाँ मौजूद हैं और ये बताता है कि प्रधानमंत्री की लोकप्रियता किस तरीके से उत्तर भारत से
All right, let me now go across to the expert, Suresh. Let me come to you. Suresh, I do understand when we say Visakhapatnam, this is but for the benefit of the viewers, because Visakhapatnam also, much like what you said about Andhra as a whole, Visakhapatnam also today, which is called the city of destinies, apparently, people from various parts of the country come. The significance of Visakhapatnam, as it were, Suresh, considering you worked and lived in Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah, I worked in Visakhapatnam also for about 2 years,
Wow.
even though I spent a majority of my life in Hyderabad, even for Kerala. There's one thing about the city I felt when I was working there. I'm talking way back, talking of 1988, 89. It was a pretty laid back city. It was a public sector undertaking city. There was not much of private sector. I remember the first of the buildings with the private sector was the HSBC facility at Sripuram Junction, exactly where Prime Minister Modi is now going past to Andhra University. So it was a laid back city. There was nothing much happening. Hyderabad also didn't have much of IT at that time. But Hyderabad was Hyderabad. It's a 430-year-old city. To build a new city takes time. It is not easy to build a new city just like that. So this is where I'm coming in, saying that to build a city takes time. But what happened in the fight between Chandrababu Naidu and Y.S. Jagan was literally the destruction of Amravati. Right or wrong, that would have been a capital. But Jagan said, I will have Kurnool, I will have Visakhapatnam, I will have Vijayawada. I mean, you can't have capitals in three places. You can have High Court in another place. Yes, I agree with that. Cochin is the High Court in Kerala. It is not a capital. But it is there because of geographical reasons. Because people from North Kerala and South Kerala can all travel to Cochin. Great, you do that. Nobody has any objection. Or you have another bench in southern Andhra Pradesh, like what happens in Nagpur with the Maharashtra High Court. The problem is simple. The problem is when you are trying to ape, they had 10 years to keep Hyderabad as a joint capital. But Naidu rushed out immediately, saying, I don't want to stay in Hyderabad. I'm going to shift all my departments. No. You could have looked at the example of how Raipur was built. So
Right.
I think you must have been there.
Yeah.
Beautifully developed.
Yes.
Almost on the lines of Chandigarh, like Crosby did with Chandigarh. You had a new capital, you had new place, you could have really planned it out. But the problem was very simple, was that there was very little time for Naidu to do it. By the time he acquired land, there was a lot of controversy on the land. A lot of politicians are said to have made money in the land acquisition. These are all allegations came. So the moment Jagan came in, he said, look, these guys all made money, so I'm going to throw this thing out. There's going to be no capital in Amravati. The land values tanked immediately. People lost money. This is the problem. You see, the advantage of Hyderabad cannot be created in Andhra overnight. It take a long, long time. They're saying you need to invest, state government needs to put a lot of money, the government needs to give in a lot of money. Great. But what is the guarantee that their business will come there? I mean, you look at Hyderabad. KTR tried his best to bring tier 2 cities into the IT bag with Warangal and Siddipet and other places. What happened? Nothing happened. All those buildings are empty now. The problem is very simple. Business will go where there is business, and that is one thing we need to realize.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly the point.
The
So
point is-
Chandrababu Naidu has a name. He has a name which he created with the creation. Even today, people say, right, I'm 100% sure of that. That he is the man who made Hyderabad what it is
Yeah,
today.
he's
in terms of
called the
IT.
CEO. I mean, I remember people, calling him the CEO, and it still hasn't gone, that nomenclature that people used. But whether it's going to come to, I'm not talking about politics, much like Suresh is saying, the visuals on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, for those who've just joined us, it's about development. It's about going forward. Has it come late? Perhaps it's come late, much like one of the experts, Mr. Prasad, says that it's decade too late. But then is it a step? Yes, of course, it's a step. That also agrees with, for those who've just joined us, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi on your screens right now, flanked by Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu, and also Pawan Kalyan, the Deputy Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, all set to lay the foundations for major projects worth 65,000 crores in the state and inaugurate several others. An estimated 2 lakh people are expected to attend the PM's meeting at Andhra University Engineering College grounds in the port city of Visakhapatnam. There you see a lot of people gathered on both sides of the road. Narendra Modi, of course, accompanied by 2 leaders, that is Pawan Kalyan as well as Chandrababu Naidu. And the 2 men who are actually responsible for the fabulous victory that the NDA alliance had in Andhra Pradesh. Prime Minister Modi will begin with laying the foundation for a railway zone at Visakhapatnam, as also the foundation for NTPC's integrated green hydrogen hub at Pudimadaka, Nakapalli Mandal, Anakapalli district. The public sector company, as part of this project, shall invest rupees 65,370 crores in 3 phases. Modi shall also virtually launch Krishnapatnam Industrial Hub, a rupees 1,518 crores project, which is all set to come up on a 2,500-acre land parcel in the first phase. This project is expected to generate employment opportunities for close to 50,000 people. Next on the anvil is laying the foundation for a rupees 1,877 crore bulk drug park in Nakapalli.
बिल्कुल ये नया आगाज है और आंध्र प्रदेश में इस आगाज में ज़बरदस्त उत्साह भी दिखाई पड़ रहा है। लेकिन जो आपने ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन परियोजना का जिक्र किया है, मैं नीरज से ज़रा उसका और कुछ डिटेल लेता हूँ। नीरज, जो 2 लाख करोड़ रुपए की परियोजनाएं हैं उसमें करीब
All right, the Prime Minister is also expected to undertake a roadshow from Sampath Vinayaka Temple. Right now you see it on the screens, and he is on his way to Andhra University. Very, very significant visit of the Prime Minister, the first after he took oath, and almost like the beginning of a new year and a very auspicious new year for Andhra Pradesh. We have three guests now. K.S. Prasad is of course with us, Suresh Kochittil also with us, and also joining us is Nallamuthu Chakravarti, who is a political analyst. Mr. Chakravarti, a very warm welcome to you on the show, sir. If I can have Mr. Chakravarti on the screen. Mr. Nallamuthu Chakravarti, how important do you think is this visit of the Prime Minister, and also several crores of developmental projects that is all set to lay in Andhra Pradesh as part of the alliance with Telugu Desam Party and Janasena Party? Mr. Chakravarti.
It adds to the general euphoria that Andhra Pradesh government is trying to create about the state. Obviously, the state has a lot of challenges. Many businesses have left Andhra Pradesh in the previous government's reign. So they're trying to, rebrand Andhra Pradesh as an investment-friendly state. So towards that goal, I think this helps in building up Andhra Pradesh image with Chandrababu Naidu at the helm. And there are certain pending issues from the state division. One of them was the railway zone, which has been pending for a long time. So now it's coming to fruition. That's another, it's been an issue of quite a bit of friction or consternation among the people.
Mr. Chakravarti, why do you think businesses left Andhra Pradesh? Because considering the earlier dispensation was very, very particular about laying a lot of significance on ease of doing business, Mr. Chakravarti.
Some of the decisions that were taken early on, for example, the Lulu Mall was the one that had left, and then the solar energy, if you remember, it costed the state dearly. The state had to pay a penalty of 9,500 crore rupees, for which even today the customers of Andhra Pradesh are paying without getting even a unit of power. That's the penalty that's been imposed by the High Court, which has been, Supreme Court did not come to state's rescue. The state breached the contract that had been signed by Naidu's government in the past. YCP government has decided to cancel the contract. So some of these things, it was an international, if not necessarily a scandal, it was an international issue where the central government too advised the state government back then not to, renege on the deal that has been stuck with the Japanese companies and few other solar companies. So some of those decisions have caused many investors
So this is a good beginning, Mr. Nallamuthu Chakravarti. This is a good, auspicious beginning in the new year where this smells of development to you, does it?
This I feel is more of building the brand than anything else. I think one of the most important initiatives in here is the green hydrogen project, which is part of the net zero emissions Paris deal, which all countries have signed on to. But that deal by itself is in is in question. I don't know if I can say it in jeopardy, but it is in question because Argentina, Milei, the new president of Argentina, is backing off. And as you know, the entire Trump campaign was built on fossil fuels and backing out of the Paris Treaty. So the entire Paris Treaty is in question, and we are still a developing country, a third world country. Projects like these are a huge burden on the economy and the exchequer. And Indian economy, as you know, this year is not doing great. After COVID, I think this is going to be a worst year for the economy. Even the RBI has reported. So projects like these, as it is, the government spends tens of billions of dollars on public sector companies. To start another public sector company of this scale, I don't know if the nation can afford. But saying that, it's a foundation stone. 2027 is where they're saying, the first investment of 50,000 odd crores will come in. This project, I believe, is valued at 1.85 lakh crores. I personally, I'm not very crazy about it. We as a country cannot afford this. Fossil fuels are still cheaper. The hydrogen power is estimated to cost anywhere from $3 to $6 per kilogram.
All right.
Whereas fossil fuel produced hydrogen costs only $1. So this is not something that a country can afford.
Suresh, do you concur with what Mr. Chakravarti says, that all this sounds very, very good, But the point is that, first of all, it's 2027, it's like 2 years away, and this is something that the country cannot afford. What would you say to what Mr. Nallamuthu Chakravarti said? Okay, let me go to, I think we've lost the connection to Suresh. K.S. Prasad, if I can get
I'm
you
available, but I'm another call. Can I just finish that call and come back to you, Sudha?
Please do that. Mr. Prasad, would you please come in? Mr. Prasad, do you think that these projects that, what Mr. Nallamuthu, Mr. Chakravarti said, that these projects will be done, but then, if you look at it, our country cannot possibly, particularly the hydrogen thing that he spoke about, is something that our country really cannot afford, Mr. Prasad?
I fully agree with Nallamuthu, because what he said was right. If you really look at it in the tenure of Chandrababu Naidu, he has tried, as far as coal power is concerned, hydropower is concerned, that's what efforts have been made. Then subsequently is moved to the solar power. As far as the power agreements are concerned, which was clashed again for 2 rupee 49 paise with SECI. This hydrogen and as well, the power projects, as far as government is concerned, which is practically not feasible and practically not possible. These only things will come to Andhra Pradesh. That's why Narendra Modi has been, from the last 1 hour, I'm breaking my head towards this. Whatever is impossible task, it will be given it to Andhra Pradesh. It's just like a foundation stones. Now, after that, nothing will move. Just like Amaravati, and particularly with his gold, instead of treating him as the golden leg for Andhra Pradesh, it is a golden wave what we gives to him. But instead of that, he'll only give a bottle of water and a bottle of sand. That's it. Nothing more than that. So as far as these promises are concerned, we have been hearing from years together. Practically, it is not feasible, and practically, it is not possible as far as the financial crisis of India is concerned. I fully agree with Nallamuthu.
All right, and let's now cut to the visuals. For those who've just joined us, these are the live visuals that we are getting of the Prime Minister's maiden visit after his 2024 victory to Andhra Pradesh, where he is going to lay foundation stones for several developmental projects, flanked by Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu and Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan. He is going to be laying the foundations for major projects worth rupees 65,000 crores in the state and inaugurate several others. Lot of people welcoming Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and of course the meeting is going to happen, the address at the Andhra University Engineering College grounds in the port city of Visakhapatnam. Visuals on your screen right now, very, very important element, both of them, JSP and TDP, or maybe the other way around, TDP and JSP, for the NDA alliance, and also for the BJP as a leg-in to south of India, where it's been trying to get some traction but has failed repeatedly, except for Karnataka, where it lost power to the Congress party, and now it's only there in Andhra Pradesh as an alliance partner. Of course, Prime Minister Modi shall also lay the foundation for a railway zone at Visakhapatnam, as also the foundation of NTPC's integrated green hydrogen hub at Anakapalli district.
केंद्र के साथ साथ किसी राज्य में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार होती है तो उसको डबल इंजन की सरकार कहते हैं और उसके तमाम फायदे हैं. ये वाला डबल इंजन और भी खास है जो आंध्र प्रदेश में डबल इंजन
Let me now go across to Suresh Kochitil. Suresh, are you free now to speak?
Yes, sir.
Suresh, Nallamuthu Chakravarti had said that, all this sounds very good, and he particularly focused on, the NTPC's integrated green hydrogen hub at Anakapalli. He said this is something that the country cannot really afford, and he explained why. Would you concur with him?
Well, we all know what happened with Trump. Trump is a very erratic person in terms of his behavior. Right now, he's talking of fossil fuels because he wants to dig as much as he wants to reduce the dependence on the other oil facilities. What happens 1 year into office, we all know the practical part of it. Pulling out from a green emission thing is the easiest thing said than done, the Paris Agreement and other things. Argentina pulled out primarily because of the economic crisis they're facing. They're now pulling out of the economic crisis just now, as we're reading today morning. This is a project for the future. Okay, what other countries do should not matter to us as long as we reduce our dependence on fossil fuels. And as we are seeing the drive towards electric cars, and electric buses and electric scooters too, we are now depending a large amount of our electricity supply should be generated. That is what is happening. The entire Indian Railways is today almost 100% electrified. And that is very important. I mean, let us look at the future. We can't be looking backwards. Whether the project takes 5 years, 10
Right.
years, whether it is successful, we all see, we don't know. Tomorrow Trump is not there, the new president comes in 5 years from now, takes a different call altogether. Or Trump himself might change the tune. So what we need to look at is basically the projects for the future. You can't be putting up another thermal power plant in Andhra Pradesh when we know for sure that today thermal is considered a polluting kind of
Right.
field, and we can't have it. That's very sure. I think that it's a good thing. Let us wait. Let us see. And because this is not the only standalone project. There are a dozen of them planned across the countries, mostly
Right.
near the coastal areas.
All right. And if you, Mr. Prasad, if you know, I know that you said, and we all know how the railway zone in Vizag, you know, was delayed for decades and decades. But going forward, what are the main challenges that you see? Do you see whether the continuation of the Voltaire division, is that a challenge? I mean, there is no clarity on that. What about the DPR also? I mean, that's also pending, Mr. Prasad.
Which were being narrated from years together. Firstly, they said that the land is not allocated for the respective state government. And surprisingly, it is got allocated with 52 acres. Today, there another story they are narrating as if DPR is not ready yet. How it is? Well, without having any DPR and all, and in 2014, how the respectable Chief Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji, how can he give a railway zone to Andhra Pradesh without knowing anything? These are all quite aware situations which was passing cloud from the last 10 years. Today, these clouds needs to burst and it has to come like a rain. Then again, they're saying all sort of stories like DPR and other things. Practically, if they really intended to give it, it's a matter of fact. But unfortunately, they were never ever. As Nalmos sir has said very clearly that which is practically not feasible, those projects will be given to this. It sounds like 208 crores for a voice which was promised to Andhra Pradesh. It really sounds good. But when it comes to deliverables, we will never be in it receiving end. That is what the biggest problem for Andhra Pradesh.
Chakravarti,
State starts with A, but when it comes to receivable, it is always with Z.
All right. Mr. Chakravarti, do you also look at it, you know, the challenges? What do you think are the challenges with the inauguration of the railway zone that Prime Minister will actually fulfill right now in a couple of minutes, I'm guessing? You know, do you see the challenges going forward? Apart from the inordinate delays which have happened, what else do you think is the challenge, Mr. Chakravarti? The Voltaire division, the DPR, the pending DPR, which I've spoken with Mr. Prasad. But over to you as to what are the challenges that you see. Do you see the wait's been worth it? There are going to be jobs going forward.
Jobs in terms of railways, you mean, or jobs in terms of overall economy?
Overall economy.
Okay. As far as the railway zone is concerned, it's been a point of friction for a long time, as I mentioned earlier. But for some reason, this time around, I'm a little more optimistic because TDP and Janasena have a little more leverage at the center, and Naidu has taken it personally to get it done. But the challenges are there. But it's very much within the control of the central government to make it happen. I'm a little more optimistic than Prasad Garu there. As far as the other issues are concerned in terms of central government giving just empty promises to Andhra Pradesh, there are a couple of exceptions. For Amaravati, they have assured that they will take care of the loan that is being given by the World Bank for Amaravati development, which is quite a significant sum, if I remember correctly, 8 or 10,000 crores or more. That is there. And then there are a few other, like BPCL, Bharat Petroleum, has promised to invest significantly. Some of the monies that they have promised have already been approved by the board to be invested in Andhra Pradesh. That's a very large investment. If I remember correctly, it was about 50 to 60,000 crore investment that is being planned. So it is not completely, a story of not giving anything. It's a mixed bag, but I think it's a great start.
Right.
Then, as far as Suresh Garu has said about Argentina has pulled out not just for economic reasons. Milei, the Argentina president, has called climate science as climate socialists, and he doesn't see any part in it. The entire Trump campaign has been about, doing debunking climate scare. Trump has already pulled out once. when he was the president, and he has promised to do it again. And the third thing is, India is due to deliver its net zero emissions by 2070.
Right.
The United States and the Europe is due for 2050. Right. So all of these do play a role. And as far as the job creation in Andhra Pradesh goes, I am quite optimistic because the state has been on a pause of economic growth. Now I think it is appearing to be taking off. The infrastructure is improving. The airports and the roads and the Amaravati construction, and a lot of IT companies coming into Vizag, including Google. If you know, their data center is being set up.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So it looks very prospective.
Yes.
I would not be as pessimistic, but it's only 7 months. So let us wait and see. There's four more years to go.
All right. As an aside, let me also tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that there are interesting stories within stories, and this time around we saw in Andhra Pradesh, apparently, usually a poster usually shows the chief minister or the deputy chief minister, but apparently Visakhapatnam was adorned with posters which also had Nara Lokesh's picture, and there was a lot of narrative and buzz about it as to why Nara Lokesh, and then there was also about why not Nara Lokesh, but apparently his face figured very, very prominently. Some read it as that easy vying for a space so far as Pawan Kalyan Garu is concerned, the deputy chief minister, because Nara Lokesh is not the deputy chief minister, he is a very important minister. Suresh, do you think that much should be read into this? This is just a little nugget, like in an election story you do asides. I'm asking you, Suresh.
You know it very well. These are all, some guy would put it up just to ensure that he gets into the right books. It's Nara Lokesh. Lokesh has to go a long way. There is Chandrababu Naidu even there right now. He has to prove his mettle, and we always see generation next need not be successful as the original one. And we have numerous cases like that across the country, where the next generation has failed to deliver. And we are not a monarchy where, where people automatically get things. Okay, there are monarchies in the political system. But I think Nara Lokesh has a long way to prove. His first job, if you ask me, should be to do a competition with Hyderabad to get the maximum investments to Andhra Pradesh. Not easy. It's not easy because, see, there is something called, you know it pretty well. Why Bangalore clicked? I worked in Bangalore for a long time during my times of India days there. But it is the social life. At the end of the day, an executive working in an IT company, senior level or a junior level, needs an outlet to go for a movie, go for a pub. These things are to be there. You first create an ecosystem around it. You build a capital, small or big, you build it. Start with a Raipur-like model. Build it up, then showcase it and tell the citizens of Andhra Pradesh, look, I've done this for you in 5 years. Because 5 years from now, he'll have to go back with a report card. And he doesn't have much time. 6 months are already over.
Right. Mr. Prasad, while we were reading about the railway zone, about which you have been very, very openly critical, but it is true that because of the Walter division, the continuation or not to continue the Shakespearean question, a lot of money has been lost. Would you agree? Would you like to explain that to the viewers, Mr. Prasad?
Whatever is there, if the zone has been formed, some revenue definitely to the AP state government is concerned, it will fall into the exchequer and our treasurer, whatever you name it as. Without having that, how can we? The loss of revenue as far as 10 years is concerned, it may be minute. What Suresh sir said was, we cannot generate wonders in 1 day or 2 days. 2 days. Over a period of time, if it would have been initiated in most 2 years itself, as far as bifurcation is concerned, in a span of another 8 years or 9 years, whatever you name it as till today, we would have done some sort of things, and definitely it would have come a huge revenue as far as 9 years tenure is concerned. Without having anything, we should think about a hand in a bird first, then we can think about birds in bushes. The same way, zone creation is concerned, which was not happened for years together. All of a sudden, if you really look into the terms of revenue, without having any initiation, we cannot do any wonders overnight. Apart from that, coming into this location, people in that picture, everybody has their own designations like Prime Minister, Deputy Chief Minister and Chief Minister. He's a shadow Chief Minister, just like Sajjala, whatever he has done the role in the last government. Today he is also doing the same role. That's why he had his picture in that poster.
Right. Mr. Chakravarti, now let's speak about, what the Prime Minister is going to do, that is virtually launch the Krishnapatnam Industrial Hub, which is estimated to be around 1,518 crores and set to come up in, in around 2,500 acres in the first phase and expected to generate employment to around 50,000 people. Speak a little about it, because this, do you think that this is something, of course, much like the NTPC stuff which you said that is going to come up only in 2027. How do you look at this particular project, Mr. Chakravarti?
No, these are excellent projects. Andhra Pradesh has been blessed with a very long coastline. So ports play an important role. The trade, international trade between India and the rest of the world is growing like anything. So whether it's Krishnapatnam port or any number of other ports some are still now under construction, they are a huge boost. I mean, a lot of ports in other parts of the country are burdened with a lot of traffic. So these ports are doing a great job, and some of them are incredibly profitable. So they're so profitable, these politicians are fighting over them to take control of these ports, as you have seen some of these recent scandals. So ports in general, I think Andhra Pradesh has been doing really well. It has resulted in excellent revenues for the country, but the state government has to build the supporting infrastructure. Right? It's not just the ports, but the connections, the road network that takes the traffic to these ports, those have to be improved. Of course, central government was also under Nitin Gadkari has been doing a great job. So.
Everyone getting ready for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address on the screen right now. He's being facilitated by Andhra Pradesh's Chief Minister. Presented the Prime Minister with Araku coffee, which is really first rate. Let me tell you, one of the best coffees that you can have in this country.
Dr. C.M. Ramesh Garu, Member of Parliament, Varini Swagatopaniyasam Ivavalsindiga Manavi Chestunam.
A welcome address, and the function is about to start.
Bharat Mata Ki! Bharat Mata Ki! Bharat Mata Ki! భారతదేశ రూపురేఖలు మార్చేసిన మన ప్రధాని గౌరవనీయులు శ్రీ నరేంద్ర మోడీ గారికి ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర ప్రజల తరపున నేను ప్రాతినిధ్యం వహిస్తున్న అనకాపల్లి పార్లమెంట్ నియోజకవర్గ ప్రజల తరపున స్వాగతం సుస్వాగతం. రాష్ట్ర గవర్నర్ గౌరవనీయులు శ్రీ అబ్దుల్ నజీర్ గారికి హృదయపూర్వక స్వాగతం. స్వర్ణాంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రూపకర్త ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ప్రజల ఆశాజ్యోతి, నాలుగవసారి ముఖ్యమంత్రిగా సారథ్యం వహిస్తున్న విజనరీ లీడర్ శ్రీ నారా చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారికి స్వాగతం సుస్వాగతం. అనుకున్నది సాధించే వరకు అహర్నిశలు శ్రమిస్తానని చెప్పడమే కాకుండా చేసి చూపించిన జన సైనికుడు, జనసేన పార్టీ అధినేత, ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర ఉప ముఖ్యమంత్రి శ్రీ కొనదెల పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ గారికి స్వాగతం సుస్వాగతం. ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ప్రజల ఆశాజ్యోతి, యువగలంతో ప్రజల మనసులు
a very welcome speech welcoming
లీడర్ మంత్రి శ్రీ నారా లోకేష్ గారికి స్వాగతం సుస్వాగతం.
There you see even Nara Lokesh on the dais, and we were just discussing about how important he is in the pecking order. Of course he's important, sitting on the dais. And there the welcome speech welcoming Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and of course the Chief Minister, the Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan, the Governor of Andhra Pradesh, and Nara Lokesh.
మన ప్రధాన మంత్రి శ్రీ నరేంద్ర మోడీ గారి సభకు విచ్చేసిన ఉత్తరాంధ్ర సోదరీమణులకు, మీడియా మిత్రులకు స్వాగతం సుస్వాగతం. ఇది ఒక మహోన్నతమైన రోజు. ఇటీవల ఎన్నికల్లో ఎన్డీఏ అఖండ విజయంతో మూడోసారి భారత ప్రధానిగా బాధ్యతలు చేపట్టిన తర్వాత గౌరవనీయులు శ్రీ నరేంద్ర మోడీ గారు ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ కు రావడం ఇదే మొదటిసారి. ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ పారిశ్రామిక ముఖ చిత్రాన్ని సమూలంగా మార్చేసిన 2 లక్షల కోట్ల రూపాయలు విలువైన పరిశ్రమలు శంకుస్థాపన చేసేందుకు
the welcome speech, and speaking about how important Prime Minister's visit is to Anakapalli district. He says that I've been very fortunate that I could actually witness the Prime Minister's visit to Anakapalli. Time for a break. I'll see you on the other side.
We are at the highest airfield in India and one of the highest airfield in the world. It is the most beautiful airfield in India. There's no aircraft that cannot land on this airfield.
This will be the highest airfield in India and 5th in the world.
This particular runway will cater for most of the military aircraft, fighters and transport landing.
A strategic edge to the forces, deterrent for our neighboring countries.
Jai Hind.
Yes, 100% completion. TV9 News and your News9 Plus is the first team here.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
India spends $75 billion on foreign cargo vessels.
$75 billion per annum. That's a lot of money.
Imagine a situation where 95% of our cargo is coming on ships which are not owned by us. If we are still not prepared, if someone were to say that we are not going to give you ships, then we'll be stuck. So the entire nation's economy is at risk.
We are very clear that shipping is also strategic, because without that you can't really be the third largest economy in the world.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
In the chaos of battle, one weapon stands as a silent reaper of the battlefield. It can kill at ranges of over 3 kilometers. Just one precise shot can shatter enemy lines, disrupt entire formations, and tip the scales of war. This is a weapon born in Bharat, and it's crafted to take on the best in the world. This is the SSS Defense Sabre, and you're watching Guns of India.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
All right, then the South Indian, as always, let's focus on other stories coming from the south of India. A lot of drama over dinner parties. What is the latest on it? Telling you. Karnataka Home Minister G. Parameshwara has postponed the dinner meeting organized for Congress SC/ST leaders. The abrupt change of the meeting schedule, which was supposed to take place at Bengaluru's Radisson Blu Hotel, has sparked speculations about discord within the party. The meeting was postponed apparently on orders of AICC General Secretary in charge of Karnataka, that is Randeep Singh Surjewala. Home Minister Parameshwara issued a statement citing directions from Randeep Surjewala as the reason for the postponement. It is not a cancellation. He also made it very clear. Parameshwara said that the meeting has been postponed but not cancelled. Listen in.
ಈ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ನಾವು ಯಾರು ಇದನ್ನ ಇದು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮದೇ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನು ಹೇಳಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಸುರ್ಜೇವಾಲಾ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಉಸ್ತುವಾರಿ ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಗಳು. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಪಕ್ಷದ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಶಾಸಕರಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತ ವಿಷಯಗಳು ನಡೆಯುವಾಗ ಅವ್ರ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೇ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವರು ನನಗೆ ಕರೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ದೂರವಾಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ನಾನು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆಹ್ವಾನ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ನೀವು ಬನ್ನಿ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪ್ರೇರಿತ ಅಥವಾ ರಾಜಕೀಯಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆಹ್ವಾನ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನಾನು ಈಗ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಮುಂದೆ ಸಮಯ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಆಗ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವು, ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಗಳು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಕ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡಿನ ಸೂಚನೆಗಳು, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
However, party insiders suggest the move might have been influenced by objections raised by Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee President D.K. Shivakumar, who is also the Deputy Chief Minister. The Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister is reportedly worried that such dinner meetings will send a wrong message out to the people that Congress is divided, while potentially undermining the morale amongst party cadre. Let me now go across to my colleague Mohammad Wajiullah for more on this. Wajiullah, so much drama on dinner party. First up, the dinner party which was held by Satish Jarkiholi, in which Chief Minister Siddaramaiah had also participated while D.K. Shivakumar was away on a family vacation to Turkey. Do you think, because we've been reading reports and what you told us this morning, why don't you share this with the viewers, how Shivakumar actually complained to Venugopal that these things should not be happening? So did that have a domino effect on Parameshwara's dinner?
Well, Sudha, to understand this, we need to understand the chain of events that have happened, the chronology especially, because on the 2nd of Jan is when the dinner party happened, which was organized by Satish Jarkiholi, where a lot of leaders, including the Chief Minister, attended that. The DCM could not attend that because he was he was abroad, he was with his family. He came back to Delhi instead of coming to Bangalore because he had a meeting with Jal Shakti Minister, after which he met the High Command and informed them about how there was these dinner meetings, which could hamper the prospect where it would show that the state is divided. But also, if you look into the inner aspects of it, if you read between the lines, it also tries to push the case forward for D.K. Shivakumar, who's also been trying to push his name for the Chief Minister's post after this thing, and he does not want any consolidation to meet each other and try to create a power center for themselves. And that is why these things were put across, allegedly being put across by the Deputy Chief Minister to the High Command, and that is when Randeep Surjewala called up and said that he would also attend the meeting. If we look into the statement given by Parameshwara, he clearly said that it has not been cancelled. I've got a call from him, and he also had shown his interest to be a part of it. But if we see the event itself, he started his bite saying that it's a state event and they were doing this dinner party, but the central ministry, the High Command then intervened, which is not required. Usually what happens is, after the meeting is done, the High Command is informed of the conclusion that has happened. Yeah. But in this case, the High Command has come forward and said that they would also want to be a part of it. So this could be anything, whether cancellation, postponement, but the whole point is that the dinner that was supposed to happen tonight has not been happened, it's been postponed. And what we've learned from our sources is that the CM will now be organizing, this is speculative as we speak, but this could be confirmed anytime we speak. We'll have another dinner on the 13th of this month, where he will bring everyone together. This will be by the Chief Minister. We'll have to wait and watch for that confirmation.
We'll have to wait and watch, Vaji, what controversy that dinner creates. As of now, thank you so much, Mohammad Wajiullah, as always, for joining us on the broadcast. And with that, it's a wrap on the South Indian tomorrow. We shall bring you more stories as always. Until then, namaskara.
He said, Thomas, if it were not for my grandmother, who was my light of my life, I would have stayed back in the US and married the girl who I loved and I wanted to marry. He said, two things brought me back to India. Number one is that my grandmother, who meant everything to me, she took ill. And the other half was that grandmother used to always tell him, please understand, TATA stand for certain principles and normative values. At some point of time in your career, you will have to embrace it unfailingly and ensure that there is no deviation from the path which Jamshedji, the founder, had shown for the entire Tata family.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
We made history for a reason tonight.
Will it change the shape of American foreign policy? Violence has erupted in Manipur once again. How can we pass judgment, sir, before any inquiry that, they were volunteers or militants, sir?
It's not the fiefdom of politicians. They owe it to the people. Matter is now more about faith of the millions of devotees than just political slugfest. Does that mean that I can't get a job in Chennai, although I may be best suited for that particular job? They have more civic sense, they have more of civility than all these men. My name is Sudha Sadanand. Welcome to the South Indian.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every seam, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
He said, Thomas, if it were not for my grandmother, who was my light of my life, I would have stayed back in the US and married the girl who I loved and I wanted to marry. He said, two things brought me back to India. Number one is that my grandmother, who meant everything to me, she took ill. And the other half was that grandmother used to always tell him, please understand, TATA stand for certain principles and normative values. At some point of time in your career, you will have to embrace it unfailingly and ensure that there is no deviation from the path which Jamshedji, the founder, had shown for the entire Tata family.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
From the highlands of Afghanistan to the jungles of Vietnam, the deserts of Africa, to street battles in Mosul, the AK-47 has dominated every conflict. But what if it could be made even better? Enter the SSS Defense P-72, India's answer to the AK-47. So how good is it? Let's find out.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Hello and welcome. You are watching News 9. I'm Krishna Kumar. These are our top stories. Delhi's Sheesh Mahal row escalates. The Aam Aadmi Party leaders stage a sit-in protest near the Prime Minister's residence. Several members of BJP's Mandir Prakosht join Aam Aadmi Party's Sanatan Seva Samiti in the presence of Arvind Kejriwal. India extends Sheikh Hasina's visa amidst extradition calls from Bangladesh's Yunus-led interim government. Chief Minister Stalin speaks on the Anna University sexual assault case, says the Tamil Nadu government will provide justice to the victim. Businessman Bobby Chemannur taken into custody by the Kochi Central Police following the complaint by actor Honey Rose. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says that the government is on alert regarding China's plan to construct a mega dam on the Brahmaputra River in Tibet. Donald Trump has once again expressed his desire to absorb Canada into the US as its 51st state shares distorted unified US-Canada map. Saudi cities hit by extreme rain, submerging the entire city. Gushing waters wash away cars. Los Angeles declares a state of emergency as a wildfire explodes. Over 30,000 people evacuated. Days after Ramesh Biduri made controversial remarks against Congress Party MP Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, she made her first retort. She termed the remark ridiculous and said that during the time of elections, important issues related to the people of Delhi must be discussed. She said, and I quote here, "It's a ridiculous remark. He never spoke about his cheeks. All this is unnecessary. During the elections, we should talk about the important issues of the people of Delhi," unquote. She said that while leaving the Joint Parliamentary Committee meeting on One Nation, One Election. Biduri spitted against Delhi Chief Minister Atishi and Congress leader Alka Lamba. In the purported video, Biduri said, "I assure you that just as we made the roads in Okla and Sangam Vihar, we will make all the roads in Kalkaji like Priyanka Gandhi's cheeks." Seeing that the controversy is escalating, Biduri apologized in front of the camera and said that he was drawing reference from Lalu Yadav's earlier remarks and had no intention to hurt anyone's feelings. Days after Ramesh Biduri made those controversial remarks, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Congress MP, has responded in a sharp retort. She's called it ridiculous and said completely unrelated and unimportant at a time when the people of Delhi are all set to vote. Priyanka Gandhi said that it is a ridiculous remark. He never spoke about cheeks. All this is unnecessary. During the elections, we should talk about the important issues of the people of Delhi. And this after she finished up with the Joint Parliamentary Committee meeting on One Nation, One Election. As she was leaving, that's when she chose to respond to Biduri. Bear in mind, Biduri is pitted against Delhi Chief Minister Atishi and Congress leader Alka Lamba in the upcoming Delhi State Assembly elections. Biduri made reference to Priyanka Gandhi's cheeks while talking about making roads in Kalkaji, just like the ones made in Okla and Sangam Vihar. Now, in a massive setback for the Congress party, Mamata Banerjee's TMC has backed the Aam Aadmi Party in the Delhi State Assembly elections. Taking to social media platform X, Arvind Kejriwal wrote, TMC has announced support to the Aam Aadmi Party in the Delhi elections. I am personally grateful to Mamata Dedi. Thank you, Didi. You have always supported and blessed us in our good and bad times. There you go on your screens. TMC announcing support to the Aam Aadmi Party for the upcoming Delhi State Assembly elections. Kejriwal thanking Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister of West Bengal, personally. Mamata's move now indicates that there is a rift in the India bloc. The Congress party is under pressure to give the leadership of the opposition bloc to Mamata Banerjee. Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party are part of the India bloc at the national level, but they are contesting against each other in the national capital. The Congress party is contesting all 70 assembly seats in Delhi. Now, in what could signal a shift in the political alignments ahead of the Delhi Assembly elections, the Aam Aadmi Party launched the Sanatan Seva Samiti. Many members of BJP's Mandir Prakosht joined Aam Aadmi Party's Sanatan Seva Samiti. These members joined the Aam Aadmi Party in the presence of the party's national convener Arvind Kejriwal, former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, and other senior Aam Aadmi Party leaders. The move, according to insiders, comes after Arvind Kejriwal's promise to provide 18,000 rupees per month to pujaris and granthis if his government is re-elected. The Aam Aadmi Party's Pujari Granthi Samman Rashi scheme was announced last week as part of the party's pre-poll guarantees ahead of the elections set to be held on the 5th of February. The initiative promises a monthly honorarium to Hindu and Sikh priests serving in temples and gurdwaras. The Aam Aadmi Party scheme mirrors the existing honorarium provided by the Delhi Waqf Board under the Kejriwal government, which grants 17,000 rupees to Maulvis and 16,000 to muezzins of registered mosques.
बहुत
The Delhi Chief Minister's residence became the centre of politics ahead of the State Assembly elections in the national capital. A standoff between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Delhi police unfolded earlier in the day after the police barred Aam Aadmi Party MP Sanjay Singh and Delhi Minister Saurabh Bhardwaj from entering the Chief Minister's residence. The Aam Aadmi Party's leaders had planned a media tour to counter the BJP's allegations of exorbitant renovation expenses during Arvind Kejriwal's tenure at the Chief Minister's residence. The Aam Aadmi Party leaders engaged in a heated argument with the police and staged a dharna outside the Six Flagstaff Road bungalow after being denied entry. The police cited lack of permission to allow entry of Aam Aadmi Party leaders to the Chief Minister's official residence.